Welcome to Are You Quizzing Me? I'm Vineet Nair with my co-host Aditya Kashyap. This is a quizzing trivia podcast show where we ask each other questions and share what we know and learn with you. Though in a quizzing format, it's not competitive. The questions are simply a way of sharing our love of trivia. So sit back, relax, and join us as we explore the depths of human knowledge. Here's the format. We ask each other questions alternatingly, as many as time permits, while giving as many clues as needed to help each other get to the answer. Let's get quizzing. Another day, another episode. And this is a special one. But before we get to why it's special, Aditya, please relieve us of this burning itch that was left by your question last episode. Apart from Prince, who else was left out from Rolling Stone's list of the greatest guitarists?
So ever since our last episode, I did my research and I realized how great a guitarist Prince was. But he did not hold a candle to one Suraj Khanna. Do you know who Suraj Khanna is, Vineet?
I don't think anybody knows who Suresh Khanna is, apart from maybe his mother.
Oh no! I think everybody here, any fan of great music would know. This gentleman played a guitar in a fantastic performance, shirtless, where he was mic'd up, and this was an electric guitar which was not connected to any amplifier. The song was a cult classic called "Oh Oh Jane Jana,"
Yes, I just got
and
it. I just got it. You can stop now.
Suraj Khanna playing an electric guitar without any connection to an amplifier anywhere nearby is, I think, a better guitarist than Prince. It would be my opinion, my humble opinion, that Rolling Stone made a massive faux pas.
You're going to get stoned on the streets of Bombay one day. Or maybe run over, God knows. Okay, so
Oh,
episode 10, and we are trying something new. Today, we have a guest who is going to grill us. So instead of us grilling each other, we have somebody to make tandoori out of us. And to introduce our guest for today's episode, I invite my co host, Mr. Aditya Kashyap.
so this guy, the most iconic memory I have of this particular person is he was a friend of mine in college. That's where I first met him, and he walks into our college hangout, this lounge that we used to have, and he walks in one day carrying his fancy laptop, and he goes, "HKV in the house." And that is by far my fanciest memory of Hari Krishna, my friend from college, one of the smartest people I know, a fantastic sitar player, somebody who was a genius at software programming, language, software engineering, and decided he didn't want the money and the fame associated with that, and instead went over to study some public policy to do this world some good, and is now pursuing that particular passion of his in Delhi. And today he's joining us for this podcast. Thank you, HK.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you both for having me. Unfortunately, I'm not joining in Delhi from HKV, Housecarls Village. I live somewhere else, but that would have been, I think, a bit too good to, miss out on. And I regret my housing choices immediately. But yeah, I've been a big fan of this show, especially of the opening segment. It's like I feel like my day instantly gets better after hearing the opening joke in every episode. Because you
I'm willing
don't
to
get
bet
lower
good
than that.
money that you're in the minority there.
No, I did send HK some money beforehand to make sure he compliments
Ah.
with jokes. Just
Yes.
making sure.
So today's format is going to be a little different. Me and Aditya are going to get grilled by the one, the only Mr. Hari Krishnan. And we will cap off the end with one or two questions of our own because, we can't leave somebody from our podcast without some wounds. At least we hope they would be wounds. So, Hari, come on, hit us.
Okay, I'm gonna try to make sure that both you guys look good, and because I feel like with all the episodes, sometimes I've had enough moments where I've just been screaming at frustration. It's like, why don't you get this? I hope there's a plenty of easy answers, and I hope I hope to see some friendly bickering now between the two of you. Don't you think it's this, or don't you think that? But let's see how it goes. So the first question, and I guess the hint even before the question is that it's somewhat related to Delhi, and of course my move to Delhi recently as well. Is this style of garden is said to be inspired by depictions of paradise in the Quran, and of course they find themselves fittingly in the final resting places of many kings and emperors. What is the term that is used for these styles of gardens? And of course, it's a bit vague, but I can give you more hints if you want. Yeah, I guess one hint already is that Delhi is important, but yeah.
Bhagwan? No? Okay, no. Uh, no, okay. So we're talking about gardens, and this is Delhi, right?
So I'm asking for the name that's given. So obviously there are many specific examples of this style, right? Like it's a popular
Okay.
thing. I'm looking for the archetype, so to speak, of this particular kind of thing.
Said to emulate paradise. Aditya, any ideas?
Because you said it's a garden where there were a lot of burials and final resting places. I know Rajghat, and there are similarly named places for at least the modern Indian history figures. So is it Ghat by any chance?
No, a ghat is, I think, the steps that lead into the river, right? Because that's the term, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's I
So
think
no,
Varanasi.
Yeah.
yeah. Nope.
So this is only specific to the Mughal period.
Okay. Without giving away too much, I think the Mughals are the ones who popularized it a lot. But it's. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna get probably someone's gonna come and tell me. I don't know my architecture well enough, but I think it's probably there been around before them too, because the depiction comes from Islam, right, from the Quran. So yeah.
I can't, because I also know all the mausoleums in Delhi by their English name, which is like
Same here.
basically Humayun's tomb and whatnot.
It'll be Humayun ka Maqbara.
Yeah, where did you all visit these tombs is my question. Because, I mean, there's a particular feature of these tombs that the name is like, it's a very descriptive name. It's not like, it's not just a Maqbara. Like, I'm looking for something that's, this obviously, the thing that I'm missing out is that paradise is described in a very specific way, right, in Islam. So it has like, of course, it's a descriptive like verse that tells what paradise looks like. Yeah.
Because you said paradise, I'm thinking maybe the root word could be Jannat, but
Jannat,
I can't think of anything which is garden related to Jannat.
Any relation to Kashmir? Any connection to Kashmir? For some reason that does.
There are, there are examples of this style of gardens in Kashmir too. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think, of course, the Mughals, Kashmir was a playground of their sorts as well, right? So yeah, I think Jahangir particularly built a very famous one that's in Srinagar.
I'm currently a bit stumped, so I would love a clue.
Same here.
So you mentioned something in the beginning, Vineet. You said this one word in the beginning. That's partly the answer, but not exactly. What word did you say in the very beginning?
I said Bhagwan. So Bhag,
okay,
basically.
Why did you say
Bhag?
Bhag is the term for is for garden, right? So there's a
yes.
So Bhagwan actually, interestingly, I think Bhagwan Babar is Babar's tomb actually, and it's also a style. It's also one of the examples of this. But okay, so what it is that in Islam specifically, paradise has a certain number of gardens, and so that's the So how many? Like, what is it described with? So yeah.
Aditya, what's Hindi for 72?
72 is Bayat. But I don't think that's the garden of pleasure you're thinking of. 72 is what? I'm thinking.
No. Too high. Yeah.
Okay, I have no clue on this. I'm completely stumped here. No.
So okay, Adi or
I'm honestly just
it's basically Charbagh. So there are 4
Charbagh.
Okay.
So if you look at any layout, And actually, like, this is interesting thing that, I mean, I was reading up, I don't know how true or thing. So Humayun's tomb is a very good example of this. Right? If you notice, the tomb itself is literally in the center of these four
Yes,
crisscrossing
like a
gardens.
crossroad kind of thing. Yeah.
So the most famous example of this, of course, is not Humayun's tomb. Which one is the most famous example of the Charbagh style? Yeah. Like by
I
far
think the
most.
Taj Mahal has one, right? If I'm not
Yes, the
mistaken.
Taj Mahal. But interestingly, if you look at the Taj, it doesn't seem to kind of fit the same archetype because the four gardens are in front of the Taj and not in the Taj.
Not, yeah.
And apparently,
Yeah.
the reasoning for that apparently is there's another garden on the other side of the Yamuna, and that is supposed to be a complementary garden to the Taj. And also because paradise has two rivers flowing through it, the Yamuna itself is supposed to be one of those rivers that symbolizes like a river in paradise. So they went like all out, like, but I don't know.
Wow.
This is, yeah. So it's
Wow.
the Taj Mahal is kind of like envisioned as part of a larger complex, if you look up, which is on the other side of the Yamuna. But probably I think because the course change and stuff like that, it probably doesn't look as impressive now. But yeah, of course, Taj Mahal itself is plenty impressive. But, yeah.
I don't know if
Charbagh.
either of you would know this, but the railway station in Lucknow is called the Charbagh railway station.
Yeah, I don't know whether that has any relation. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Does it have any topiary or some kind of landscaping in front of it?
I have no idea, but then now that you say it, I am beginning to question whether it is named after a similar thing as well, because Charbagh, and I've heard this word growing up all my life because my grandparents used to live in Lucknow, so I always go by train.
Apparently, it has a garden in front of it, which is right. Yeah.
When you were saying number and Bagh, I was like, 8 Bagh, 9 Bagh, and it didn't occur to me that I should start lower. If I'd started lower, I would have hit it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the other questions are going to be. This is deliberately vague, right? So I don't know because I don't know how.
This is a great start.
This is a great question. This is a great question.
This is a great question. The thing is, what I'm really kind of peeved about is this was part of another question that I saw at a recent quiz, but it was only tangentially related and was related to the Taj Mahal. And I remember this being part of the picture, and then suddenly when you said Charbagh, I was like, "Oh my god, idiot!" Okay. Hit us with your next question.
Okay. So this phrase was originally used in a very literal sense by the Roman historian in big quotes, and statesman Pliny the Elder, who wrote this. Cicero hath recorded that the poem of Homer called the Iliad, written on parchment, was enclosed within a blank. Now, this phrase is fittingly used to denote something that is brief and to the point. Now, there's also another related word which is used in journalism to describe a paragraph in which the main points of the article are summarized. So, the same word is basically used in these two contexts. So, I'm looking for the phrase. Actually, if you get the phrase, you're most likely going to get the second part. But yeah.
Something to do with precise?
No.
Precise? No.
No. So, I mean, actually, the very ironic thing is he said the Iliad could be fit in this, which seems very, I'm wondering how, because the Iliad is famously known for being one of the most verbose poems ever. But yeah.
Yes. Huh.
Anything with being to the point or something?
Yeah. So this is a phrase that's used to denote something that is brief and to the point. Okay, and the quote, I'll say the quote again, is that Cicero recorded that the poem of Homer called the Iliad, written on parchment, was enclosed within a blank.
And what is the second part of it? You said the other part was?
The same phrase lent itself to this other word that is used mainly in journalism from what I've read to describe a paragraph in which the main points of the article are summarized. So there's a specific term for the paragraph in which all the main points of your article are summarized. So it's called a particular something paragraph and short for something. If you guys are a bit stumped, I can give you like a very, very kind of tangential clue. I don't know whether either of you, have you heard of the Ken? Not an ad, by the way. I just have either of you heard of
the magazine?
The online magazine, yeah.
Yeah. So they have one of their newsletters has the name of this, So if you haven't read it, but So,
leave it to you to give an obscure clue.
Okay.
But it was a big TR for me. That's why I had never made the connect between the name of the newsletter and this.
Okay, what root language are we talking about here?
It's English. So the quote I've given you is translated in English, right? So the blank is literally within a blank. It's one word, and the phrase is basically to do with that blank. So maybe forget about all the fluff around it, and just focus on what is a phrase that means something that is brief and to the point.
And blank is one English word, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a noun, right? Rather, right? It's like, not a word. Like, obviously, it's a thing. Like, it's a phrase, right? So it's an idiomatic phrase. So it's what's an idiomatic phrase for something that's brief and to the point? Okay, maybe like so in context, right? So like I said, Pliny the Elder used this word in a very literal sense. So he said literally that the Iliad could be fit within something, right? And that something is like so basically, but obviously that something is a very small thing, which is why it became meant to be it became used as something to mean brief and to the point. But when you're saying could be enclosed within something, he was using it in a very literal sense, that it could be enclosed within this object, or like this object is the kind of the wrong word, but like within this descriptive word.
This sounds actually vaguely familiar. Is it anything to do with seed?
Well, you're there, but no. So, obviously, so.
No. It's a nutshell. It's a nutshell.
Yeah.
In
And
a
now,
nutshell.
what is that? What is that summarizing paragraph? Have you heard of that term before? Like, does that make sense now? So it's actually literally called a nutshell paragraph or a nut graph.
Nutshell paragraph.
Nut graph.
So
Okay.
the Ken's newsletter, the weekly newsletter that kind of summarizes everything, is called the nut graph. So sorry, I mean, again, not an ad, but yeah. Okay.
In a nutshell, yes. I remember this because I read this etymology.
Yeah.
Yes.
The quote was that the Iliad could be fit into a nutshell.
Yeah, so Pliny is saying that someone had recorded that that there was a version of the Iliad that could have been that could fit within a nutshell. So I don't know what he was smoking, but clearly, Pliny the Elder is known for, in general, for these very, very, very
Yeah, he
interesting
he used to exaggerate quite a bit.
Yeah. I remember someone had told that he had like very interesting things to say about India too, because I had never been, but he had like some crazy stuff to say about like the people and like the beasts in India and things like that.
Yeah,
So
I read something about crocodiles and pirates and rivers and something like that. When it comes to parts of Bangalore or South India, he had described, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I remember something like somebody had put that in a quiz once in Bangalore.
And I think one of the things that he was very concerned about was apparently because Roman trade would mainly come, like as in the trade inflow would be into India. So he was, I think, probably the earliest proponent of Atmanirbhar in Rome, at least, because he didn't want Rome trading with India and giving all the riches to Indians at that point. But yeah, so that's the origin of In a Nutshell.
In a nutshell. That's a brilliant question, by the way.
So this next question is another etymology question. I'll mix it up. I have like a few lined up, like etymology questions lined up, but I will move on to something else. But this is another one. So this term, like many others, if I may say so myself, evolved from agriculture, and particularly from this agricultural practice where seeds were thrown over a large area in an attempt to basically get them to not compete with each other and hope that some of them would sprout. So what is this term, or this, not phrase, this is a particular term, came from this context?
Seeds being thrown in a large area.
Is this term now in general English used to mean, what does it mean in general English now?
Okay, if I say that, it's giving away the answer. Basically, it's used in it's used in a very similar sense, right? So, seeds are being spread in a large area. It's similar. Something similar happens in a large area, and so this term is used for that. But the origin comes from literally, and I mean, So it's a very literal term that way. Once you know the term, you'll be like, the meaning is right there. But yeah.
I see you did not fall for my trap. Just making you reveal the answer.
After listening to 8 episodes, I think I'm a bit wise to your tricks, Adi. So yeah. It's a very descriptive word, like I said. So think of what is being described
I'm just thinking
here.
widespread. Widespread seems to be.
Yeah. So think of other words, right? So I use thrown in a very you can imagine that thrown is not a very nice word to use in this context, right? Because people are not. There's a nicer term that people use, but if I use that word, you'll know the answer. So I'm deliberately use the word thrown in that sentence. So think of widespread. So but that's not exactly descriptive, right? Like in the same sense, and it's used in a very very tangential but very very familiar similar sounding context. Yeah, and of course we all know this word. Yeah,
it's a single word. It's not a phrase.
no, it's a single word. Yeah,
it's a single
it's
word.
two parts, but it's a single word. Yeah.
I can only think of synonyms like ubiquitous or extensive. Or
No, that'll be a little too obscure.
So seeds were thrown over a large area. Now something else is done over a large area, and this word means something else being done over a large area. Yeah, thrown in a sense in a large area. Yeah.
Is it got anything to do with manure being spread over a large area as well?
No. Think. Okay, the term obviously. Okay, the term as we use it now became super popular after like the late 1890s something was invented, and after that this term just became very popular, basically. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, which year did you say? Which after what?
1890s, in the 1890s, and after that we basically till then it was probably a lot harder to do this thing particularly. But after that, it just became very easy to do that. And then since then, we've just been doing more of this particular word everywhere, basically.
1890s, anything to do with the telephone?
No, telephone was slightly earlier. But no, something else. Okay. The other hint is this word is in. We generally know it as part of the term for this organization, let's say, that's been in the news recently in India, particularly, and also it's associated with this term. So, like this organization that how would I say it? Okay, I'll tell you what was invented in the 1890s at least. I'm thinking of radio. So yeah. 1890s radio is invented. After radio is invented, this word is just
broadcast.
Very popular. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Okay, casting it. Yes. Now that you say it, it's so obvious.
It is so obvious.
So obvious. I'm stealing this question, by the way.
Yeah, there are tons of these terms, by the way, that just come from agricultural practices that just have been used in English based. I think. There's a couple of podcasts that I listen to. I don't know whether that doesn't come from. I don't think it comes from the same agricultural thing, but etymology, like a few common things you get is like animal husbandry and agriculture has a lot to do with like a lot of the phrases we use, probably because we did it for the longest of times. But yeah.
That's wonderful. That's such a
that was a cracker of a question. That was a cracker of a question.
Broadcast. I love a question where the answer, when you hear it, it's so obvious.
Yes.
That's it.
No, I guarantee there's somebody listening to this right now who was screaming at it saying, broadcast, you idiots! You're literally doing that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to move to something in the animal kingdom now because I'm going to skip over. I have like 5 more etymology questions. Let's see if we can come to it later. So we'll come back to this. But yeah. Okay. Basilisk lizards are a group of lizards which are endemic to the southern Mexico, Central America, and South America. Now, they have large hind feet with scaly fringes on the sides of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th toes. So these are normally compressed against the toes, when this lizard walks on land. But if it senses danger, it opens up these fringes and increases the surface area of the foot, and it allows that allows it to perform one of its most iconic traits. So and also gives it a very popular nickname. So what do they do? Which they don't normally do on land, but if it senses danger, it does this basically. It opens up its toes wide and uses the fringes to do something that most animals normally can't do. Yeah.
It's not surfing. Don't tell me it can surf.
It is to do with water, so in that it is correct.
Okay.
But it does something that's very and it gives it a super popular nickname. Yeah, yeah.
Is it called a Jesus lizard or something because it runs on water?
It is called the Jesus Christ lizard because it can literally run on water.
Well cracked, Aditya. Well cracked.
I think I've seen like a clip of this happening, like a lizard running on water. That's why I thought, nice. Good question.
No, but also I didn't know basilisk was used in apart from outside of Harry Potter. But yeah, that was just a random DIL for me. But yeah, I have no idea why they call this the basilisk because it looks so non-threatening. Apart from running on water, which just objectively sounds cool. I think I personally find a lot of lizards just gross, but this one just looks cool. Running on water and stuff. I don't know why they called it a very frightening name. But yeah. Yeah.
Okay, on to the next one. Yeah.
Next one. Okay, so let's move to flags. So the flag of this country is a very simple bicolor flag with two horizontal bands. Okay, and of course there's a ratio to it and all that, which are not particularly relevant. So there's a very memorable incident associated with this flag. So during this country's war of independence against its colonizers, a group of youths removed the flag of their colonizing country. Okay, and then from it, which was hoisted atop this hotel in a pretty important city in that country. So what they did is they brought the flag down. They tore off a strip of blue that was in the flag, and then they rehoisted it as this country's flag. Which country's flag am I talking about? Yeah.
So my instinct is immediately to go to French colony. And I'm thinking it has to be, if they took off the blue, then it is the white and the red.
Okay.
But I have
white and red is what? Poland? No.
I think so.
Poland is white and
there
red.
are a few countries which have
I don't think Poland was
red.
called with the French.
That's not colonized, yeah.
The other white and red I know is Indonesia, but is that...
Indonesia would be the Dutch, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's not a French colony, right?
No, wait. We decided it's a French colony. He never said it was a French colony.
That is true.
Wait, what's the Dutch flag? The Dutch flag's also got red, blue, and white, right?
I have no idea. I do not know what the Dutch flag is. Okay.
Okay, he's smiling. He's smiling. I'm seeing an evil smile on his face. I think we're close, and he's just purposely keeping quiet.
Okay, so we can confirm whether is it the Dutch flag?
It is the Dutch flag.
Is it Indonesia?
It is Indonesia. Yeah. So it happened. Apparently, the hotel was called Merdeka Hotel. Merdeka, I know Adil be familiar, means independence in Malay and in Indonesian. So it's not the same color, of course. The red is and the origin of the Indonesian flag is not from this incident. People sometimes associate it, but that's not how the Indonesian flag came about. It comes from one of the reasons it comes from is accepted once is from the 13th century March Pied Empire, which had a red and white standard. But basically they just saw that the Dutch flag had red, white, and blue, and so they took down Dutch flag, tore off the blue, and hoisted it back with just the red and white. And it was that was a time when the Dutch were obviously not pleased with Indonesian flags being flown around. It was during the War of Indonesian Independence. But yeah.
Again, nice. Aditya cracks it.
Yeah.
I came over it the completely wrong way because I went the French route.
No, we've done this before on the podcast where we thought of something and went completely the other way around.
Also, I think the French flag has vertical stripes and not horizontal stripes. If I'm not mistaken. So I think I didn't kind of want to not get you down the thing.
In Aditya's defense, you can turn the flag on its side.
That's what I thought. They just turned the flag.
Okay. Okay. So I think I'm going to go back to some kind of etymology questions. So I'm going to go for this one. Okay. So this term, the term X, derives its name from an ancient Greek city, which used to serve as a transit point and a transit and trade point between Europe and Asia. Now, the meaning of X has changed, and it's generally used to describe something that's excessively complicated and typically involves a lot of administrative detail. So, what is this word? Yeah.
Byzantine.
He knows it. Okay, so Willis gets this one. Yeah.
No, I've done this before, and again, I'm not getting paid by them. Please listen to the Empire podcast. There's an entire episode dedicated to this.
Oh wow! Yeah, I didn't know what is with Byzantine, because I know you guys follow cryptocurrency, but the problem that the crypto generally aims to solve, or at least like blockchain, all these protocols themselves, it's called the Byzantine generals problem. Just this problem of like coordination between parties that can't really communicate with each other. Something along this sense. Yeah, I'm sure someone will issue an addendum, but yeah.
The thing is, the terms actually kind of, I wouldn't say offensive. It's not completely accurate, because the Byzantine Empire lasted for a good, like a few centuries. And if what people say is true, or what people think was true, is that there was so much red tape and bureaucracy and corruption, no kingdom would have survived that long. They survived for a good, like, I think, more than half a millennium. So it's a misnomer, but as in people still use that term. Recently, during the elections, the UK elections, it was bandied about quite a bit.
Of course. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. This is probably okay. I'm not going to spoil too much. So this company's eponymous product is widely used as a lubricant, rust preventative, penetrant, and moisture displacer. The name is thus
WD-40.
quite. I didn't know this one. Yeah. So it's because
I'm sorry, I just couldn't help myself.
I don't know. What was the question? I didn't even hear.
Basically, the term comes from the fact that it's descriptive, and it pays tribute to the persistence of the chemists who tried several times to formulate such a product. So it's basically literally water displacement, the 40th attempt. So yeah, that's called WD.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have done that. It's horrible etiquette to jump in the middle of a question.
No, I honestly, I find that very endearing, because it's like that enthusiasm is what that's in a sense also what about quizzing. It's that rush that comes when you about trivia. Is like when you connect the dots, and okay, this next one hopefully is a little harder. So this company's name is commonly assumed to translate to "leave luck to heaven," or even to leave one's fortune in the hands of fate. But these are not historically valid. It's one of those, food etymology things where, like people like to use this as the meaning, but it's actually no one's verified that that's actually what it means. The more likely explanation is that it means the company that's allowed to make a particular kind of playing cards. Which company is this?
Oh, playing cards. I know. Playing cards is Nintendo.
Yeah, it is Nintendo. So
because I know that's the origin of Nintendo.
Yeah. So apparently, it used to be that playing cards were illegal. A lot of gambling was illegal in that time in Japan, and also the founder, they started playing Hanafuda cards. That's the thing, and apparently the term it's the reason these things happen in Japanese and I guess other or Chinese and these languages is because Nintendo is written with, I think, kanji, right, which is Chinese characters, and so there's a lot of different meanings for the words. And so one possible meaning is literally that it's something that falls from heaven, because I think nin and ten and all of these words also mean that. But another way of looking at it is apparently, if you look at the characters, that it translates to, or the characters similar to a character for flower. And they used to sell Hanafuda cards, which is a kind of card floral patterns on it. And so, so apparently, the more accepted or the more likely meaning is that it's just the house that made cards. And so that's Nintendo. Yeah.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Okay, so I think it's time for us to start winding up, which means that there's two questions left for today's episode. One from you, Aditya, and I'll go for the second one. So, hit
Okay,
us.
I feel like HK has set the bar really high.
Really high. I mean,
With
like
his-
today
with
the
his-
level's gone up to professional
Fantastic.
quizzer level. You know,
Yeah. If we end up not recording a single more episode after this, it's your fault, HK, because we can't live up to you anymore. But no, let's try doing some justice to HK's question. So I'm gonna do one. So everybody's familiar with mnemonics. We know what mnemonics are, and for those of you who are not familiar, mnemonic is basically a device that is used to make easy learning more complicated things. So one of the most famous examples is my very excited mother just served us naan, which would be like the mnemonic for remembering the order of the planets in the solar system. Now, I want to know what this mnemonic is for. Superman helps everyone.
Superman helps everyone. Wow.
Superman helps everyone.
SH, yeah, wait, but 8 helps 5, 8, 5, and everyone is 9, right? Oh, 8 again. Yeah, yeah, 858. 858. What is 858?
Okay, let me try that again. Let me say that again, and maybe my saying it in a specific way might help you guys.
Okay.
Superman helps everyone.
No, yeah, so Superman 5-3 helps again 5-3-5 5-3-5-3. Wait, 5-3-5-3. Is there something with that for
Okay,
Superman?
I think you guys are going. Actually, I think you're going in the slightly wrong direction. So it has nothing to do with the number of letters.
Okay, SMH. So okay, SMHE. Wait, what? SMHO. Wait, SMHO. What is SMHO? But four. So there are four things involved in this. Superman helps everyone.
I would say 5. No, Superman helps everyone.
Oh, everyone. Oh yeah, 5. Yeah, 5. What have we had 5 of? 5 elements? Getting okay.
So think geography. Think geography. Should I get more specific?
Okay, yeah.
Think North American geography.
Oh, Superior, the lakes. Superior, Michigan, Huron, Ivy, and Ontario.
Okay, the Great Lakes.
The 5 lakes. The 5 Great Lakes. Okay, yeah.
These are the 5 Great Lakes, the series of largest interconnected freshwater lakes in North America. And they, in order, they are Superior, Lake Michigan. No, in order of west to east.
West to east.
So,
okay.
Yeah. That is Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, and Ontario.
Yeah.
That's Superman helps everyone. Yeah.
Nice question.
Hey, that's my question. Vineet, it's your turn.
So it's my question, the last question for today's episode. And here goes. In chronological order, the first one was Sylvester, also known as Sir Det. Lord Norton was the last. In between, there were many others, including Tom Taylor, Lady Jeanne, Earl Spencer, Leonardo da Vinci, Lady Blunt, Leonora Jackson, Paganini, and the Messiah. Though unnamed, one also appears in the Sherlock Holmes series. What am I talking about? Let me just specify, I'm talking about the Sherlock Holmes novels, not the TV series, the novels by Arthur Conan Doyle.
Does it have anything to do with, like, I'm thinking some secret society leader or something? I'm going very Dan Brown over here. Is there something?
No, you would not be like, that's a great guess, because when I asked this question in another quiz, the first question that came was, the first answer that came was, are these, chancellors of the Priory of
Yeah,
Sion?
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but then I would have also included Newton in that list.
Right. Okay. What were you going to say, HK?
I was about to ask, wait, just to Sylvester was Sir Sylvester, is it? Was the first? And
Sylvester as an R.
Okay, Sylvester. Okay, and
Sylvester,
then the
also
last.
known as Sir Det.
Oh, Sir Det. Okay, and the last was?
The last was Lord Norton.
Lord Norton, okay. And this Da Vinci, Paganini, is it? Okay, Lady Jean.
Yes, Da Vinci is there, Earl Spencer's there, Lady Blunt is there, Leonora Jackson's there, Tom Taylor, and the Messiah.
Is this like something real or fictional?
This is real.
Oh, this is real. Okay.
Do the Fabergé eggs have names?
Oh,
no, they don't, but that's a very good guess.
Yeah.
You'll realize how good a guess that was when I tell you the answer.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Or when HK finally gets to the answer.
Is it something to do with stuff that was like? Is it something to do with the moon, like craters on the moon, by any chance, or things
No,
like
no,
that?
no. Again, great guess, but no.
Yeah.
But Traders on the Moon won't work because it is an exhaustive list, because it has a first and a last.
Yeah, that's true. That's the first and the last. Yeah. So.
And you're
some
also
missions.
ignoring the last clue, basically.
And it is in the
last.
It is in the books, right? In Conan Doyle's books.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Sherlock Holmes books. Yeah.
One of them appears, though unnamed.
Okay.
One of them does appear in the Sherlock Holmes novels and short stories.
Unnamed, one of them appears.
Oh, comets. Is it something to do with comets?
I thought that was a great guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not an exhaustive list again, right?
Again, right?
No, this is not an exhaustive list, by the way. This is just.
No, I meant it has an end. So.
Yeah, so there is a beginning and there is an end. It's a finite list, but the list I gave you is no longer exhaustive. There are over 200 entries on that list.
Oh, wow. 200 over entries.
Over 200. Shall I give you a clue?
Yes, I think we need a clue.
The most famous of them is the Messiah.
Messiah. Is it a painting or something?
No, but keep thinking in that direction.
Because you said Fabergé egg also, right? That's why. So some sculpture, something along those lines. I'm thinking if
no, that's a little cold.
No, a little cold. Okay.
Is it the work of a famous artist?
Yes.
Who has?
You can put it that way. You could say he was an artist. Yeah, he is an artist. Yes, he is an artist.
So, and it's the work of a famous artist.
Okay, start thinking what kind of thing would appear in a Sherlock Holmes novel. Okay, think of the most famous paintings of Sherlock Holmes or the illustrations of Sherlock Holmes at 221B Baker Street. Like he's standing there, looking outside the window, doing what?
Is it cigars? No, again, it can't be.
No, Sherlock never smoked cigars.
Yeah, he smoked a pipe. Right, that was the thing.
He smoked a pipe.
Famously, I think. In the books. But yeah. Wait.
Oh, are these violins?
Can you be more specific?
Are these Stradivarius violins?
Stradivarius.
Yes.
Yes. Nice. Oh wow.
These are all. So most Stradivarius violins have a name or a sobriquet for it. So the first one is known as Sylvester, also known as Sir Det. The last one that we know that he made was called Lord Norton. And in between, there are a lot of them which have gained names because famous people have been associated with them, or the family, or somebody like Leonora Jackson plays it, so it becomes the Leonora Jackson. That somebody in the Da Vinci family, so it becomes known as the Leonardo da Vinci. So there are a lot of names in there. I obviously picked out the ones that sound most like people so that it would make it a little harder. But there are so many in that. The only one I left was the Messiah because that's the most famous Stradivarius violin there is. It's called the Messiah.
It's a great question. That's a great question.
And that was the last question for today's episode. But before we wind up, there is tradition that we have to follow. Aditya, what's your question for this week?
I'm really going to regret this because I have to come up with an answer the next time. But what is the mnemonic for remembering the tributaries for Indus, the river Indus? It has 5 famous tributaries, and there's a very interesting mnemonic that I'm going to magically come up with before the next episode, and it'll be hilarious, apparently. That's my question.
Yes, hilarious or lethal, one of the two.
Either or.
Okay, as I mentioned, that's the last for this episode, but do not fret, do not fear. HK will be back for the next episode due to popular demand. Our demand, but still, it's demand still nonetheless. So that's all that we have for you today for this episode. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show and that you learned something new. If you liked what you heard, please consider subscribing to our podcast. Leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. It takes about 5 seconds max. It'll help us reach a wider audience and allows more people to discover and enjoy the show. We'd also like to hear from you. Feedback, suggestions, even trivia. You can reach us on Instagram at @AreYouQuizzingMe. We appreciate your support and look forward to sharing more episodes with you in the future. Thanks again for tuning in. That's all from me.
See you guys later.
Thanks for having me on again, you guys. It had great fun, and hope to see you. Hope to do another episode with you in the future. Let's see.
Next episode.
Hopefully next week.
Next episode.
Yes. And before you guys leave, after the musical sting, fact checker general Aditya will be back with the fact check for this episode. So stay tuned.
Aye, Captain.
And here's the fact check for the episode. Babur's tomb in Kabul is called Bagh-e-Babur. Charbagh, the railway station in Lucknow, is named after the 4 gardens which are believed to have existed here till 1867. Of them, 1 garden still exists today and is located just across the railway station. And that's all for a very short fact check.